as part of the Code America rules by now. No clips, music, audio, scenes from this game have been used in the purpose of making this review. I've been doing this all a bunch. Please comment, send video responses. You know the deal, and it's a general opinion and my own. So please respect it. On to the show. After a month of hanging out in the video game nothingness and playing games and yes, earning my portal to the magical world of Equestria, I thought after after a month of wind down that I'd return to what I do best, giving you the straight truth about certain video games without all the media, political, or biased spin. And when it comes to media, political, and fan bias spin, there's no game this year that has echoed up more controversy in terms of reboots than the subject of today's review. The reboot of one of Capcom's most viable action franchises from the PlayStation 2, Devil May Cry. Yes, you've heard the reviews of the game, and now fans are eagerly pissed off at Dante's new look and attitude. How certain reviewers, and I won't name any names think this is a blatant insult on the Devil May Cry franchise, and that this game should be thrown out with the bathwater on how it insults the story continuity and its history. But in the next few minutes, I'll tell you why that is absolute bullcrap, and why you, if you're an action game fan of certain games like Onimusha, that you should be picking this game up right now. Oh, after a month of eager waiting, it's time to get back to Kadic. This is my review of DMC. If you've heard of the new DMC, you're in either one of two camps. You're either in the camp that thinks it's a revitalizing take on a game that in recent history has pretty much lost its way and sucked so so much cake that you want to like throw it away in the pantry or something. Or you're in the other camp that thinks that Dante went to a My Chemical Romance concert and came out on the wrong end of it with black hair, a disposition, a short change jacket, and none of the signature cool, just a little bit moody. Well, I'm here to tell you, you're all crazy. Because DMC is a good game. Not just good, it's great. Where do I start? Well, story-wise, this is a reboot. Yes, I know. Reboots have become as normal as people wearing Ugg boots or watching stupid reality shows. It's just become, well, expected. Well, this reboot is slightly different. seeing that the characters from Devil May Cry's first game, Mundus, Dante, Virgil, have stayed pretty much in name only. Personality-wise, though, they've been flip-flopped. Dante is a anti-soc who rather get his bones out by angel chicks and just hang out oblivious to the world. And yes, he's kind of moody, and he likes killing demons as a hobby. Virgil is a leader of an Mundus resistance group called the Order, trying to tell the real world what's really going on and that the demons are in control. Mundus looks like Paul Heyman and runs the world like a corporate empire. When these three worlds collide thanks to a rough night out that Dante doesn't even remember, and a psychic medium named Cad who can communicate with people through the real world and the demon world known as Limbo, which is quite frankly the star of the game. Limbo is an art form. It is a gorgeous, technicolor, bright, imaginative world where everything is floating in midair. The aesthetic colors are dark and brooding, and even the demon world itself communicates with you through the walls, and some of the creepiest fourth wall breaking I've seen in a long time. Even creepier than Pinkie Pie's fourth wall breaking at the time. But on top of that, the story is well written and actually fleshes out the characters' motives of Mendai with enough information where you get the basis of it, but it's not too confusing. And here is the major difference between Devil May Cry Old Dante and Devil May Cry New Dante. Devil May Cry New Dante has personality and character. See, he's a nobody becoming somebody. Basically, from the beginning of the game to the end of it, you're watching the character slowly build back into the badass that we know he is. As he starts to slowly accept what he is, who he is, and what he means to the demons. And Cat is a perfect medium between the two brothers' alternate sides, seeing that she's a human and right in the middle of the conflict. But Cat is no damsel in distress. Using her magic spells that she hides in graffiti cans, among other things, in a way to bring Devil May Cry into the modern, Cat acts as your big medium through the game, giving you objectives, spouting out exposition and great conversation, and being kind of the voice of the fan at the moment. But then again, story is not Devil May Cry's main entree. For as greatly improved as the story and some of the voice acting is, it's not stellar, and yes, it is mature. It is mature after all. There are plenty of cuss words aplenty, but not as many as other reviewers on YouTube would make you think. it's really the combat. Now, this is an action game and it knows it. The controls are easy to pick up and play. Every button has an action, and every action button is an access to one of your many weapons of arsenal. From the light-sided weapons like the Osiris hook sword to the Arbiter and Enoch's knuckle. The Arbiter is a big ass axe, by the way, that deals major damage and breaks shields. Heck, even later in the game, you get a double-barreled shotgun, some angel fiend ninja stars, and an exploding shotgun crossbow thing called the Kablooey. But of course, your standard Devil May Cry weapons of the Rebellion and Ebony and Ivory, once again living together in perfect harmony, are, are going to be your basic death dealers of choice. But because of the game's superb control scheme, now flipping between angel and demon weapons, what kind of weapon it is as simple as a few button presses and a few taps on the D-pad. During any combo, any of these weapons can be intricately linked together to reach those notorious triple S style ranks, all without breaking the pacing, the frame rate, or anything of the game. If you're truly creative with this uber deep combo system that is much deeper than Metal Gear Rising's Revengeance combo list by far, you will find massive enjoyment in DMC. And plus, replayability, although not a must, you'll want to do, seeing that once you beat the game normally, you'll unlock a new difficulty setting. Beat that difficulty setting, and you'll unlock another one, ultimately to the back-breakingly punishing Hell in Hell mode, which is essentially a one-hit kill for you, not for them, which echoes back to the DMC2 level of difficulty. And when I'm mentioning DMC2, I mean old DMC. And if you want old DMC, play the HD collection, kiddos, because this Dante could kick the old Dante's ass, probably blindfolded. The level design is clever, using a mix of traditional platforming, but unlike the old DMCs that would have Resident Evil style puzzle play, the new DMC knows it's an action title and stays clearly on course, very rarely changing course. How little? There's only one puzzle in the game, and it comes at the next to last level of it. This single this single-minded approach helps the game stay fast, furious, and in your face at all times. Yes, there's still the matter of the secret keys and secret doors that are scattered throughout each level, and sometimes you'll have to revisit stages in order to gain access to the dozens of collectible things that might help your trophies or achievement score pop aplenty. And just like Metal Gear Revengeance, the soundtrack for Devil May Cry fits the mood of this somewhat trippy action game perfectly. And even the boss fights. And yes, there are boss fights. Granted, the majority of them are much easier than Revengeance's Magnus Opus of 4 boss fights, but each boss fight seems to be a pop culture send-up. Most especially the boss fight with Bob Barandis, a Fox News channel style channel called the Raptor News Network's big talking head that actually looks like Bill O'Reilly in some aspects and even echoes some of Bill's signature lines during the boss fight. The game's sense of humor is a little bit darker and a little bit cheekier, but it comes off as not funny or too overblown or too condescending. It's just right. This thing knows it's a dark rebuild, and it pretty much stays that way throughout. If you like action games in general, and I mean in general, don't ignore the internet fallacy of emo Dante and actually give DMC a shot. It is surprisingly well done, and for Ninja Fury, the studio behind the utterly atrocious Ninja Blade, this most certainly makes up for that mistake in droves. Let's just hope the negative backlash doesn't lead to this reboot not getting a second chance. It may not be your grandfather's Devil May Cry. It may not be your own Devil May Cry. But this game should not by any means be ignored. This is Capcom's best game in a long while. And that's why I'm proud at the end of this Kadic review to give it a 9 out of possible 10. And I only hope that the series will return again in this one. And even if it doesn't, it is most certainly a diamond in the rough. The only thing that you might have trouble with in this game is the camera can lead to a few cheap deaths, or two, and the story might not keep you connected. But if you're a true action game fan, this one's for you. I'm Leoka Lion 59. Live life by the code.